Good morning. Welcome to the October 13th, 2022 meeting for the Dixon County Commission. Would you please stand and join in the flag salute? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before I knew we had that in the packet.
Okay. We have three items we're going to add to the agenda. The first one, amending section 305 regarding vacation employee policy in regards to vacations. The second item to add is amending section 514. This has to do with clothing and uniforms for employees. And then the third item is bids for a new pickup truck for road and bridge. And I would move that.
We need to add another executive session.
Oh, yes. And I did have one here. Thank you, Craig. We also will have the fourth item is an executive session for 20 minutes for non-elected personnel. And we'll do that after the other business is taken care of. I move that we approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carries. The consent agenda includes the minutes of the October 6th meeting, also payroll of $342,573.13.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second it.
We have the motion and the second for approval of the consent agenda. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Commission comments. Ron.
Yes, I did spend last Saturday down at the bar at the Lions Schnitzel dinner they had, and it was a wonderful time to be with the folks. We had a good turnout, and I did enjoy the Monday turnout for the in-service training we had. It was an honor to be able to pass out those certificates of years of service to the employees that received them, and get to talk to the folks who are here. So it was a good deal.
Okay, thank you. Craig.
Staff training I thought went well on the Columbus Indigenous Day. I thought everybody did a temporary job. I was really the cleanup. Everybody stayed around to help pick up tables and chairs and stuff, and went real well. That's all I have, Lynn.
Okay. Earlier this morning, we had a department head meeting. Also, last Friday, Senator Moran was in Abilene and stopped by the courthouse here, did a tour of the jail, visited with some of the department heads, and I thought it went very well, but also kind of highlighted the fact that all the things that take place on a local level and the services that we provide. Later this evening, there's a Dixon County EDC meeting, and I'll be attending that. And that's all I have. We do not have any proclamations today. This would be opportunity if there's anyone that would have a comment or question, you could do so for our time of public comment. We do not have any comments on any items not on the agenda, so we'll go ahead and move on to our report from county officers. Brad.
Okay, we got a notice, I guess last week that the federal government is going to distribute out a little bit more money in ARPA funds. As you know, worked through it and did the application. We're going to be getting another $100,000 worth of federal money that is to go towards a revenue loss. So it'll be able to be spent for whatever you choose to spend it on. So I guess that's good news. I do have the final application for the historical preservation grant that the Regional Planning Commission has filled out for us. And before you leave, Lynn, I'll get your signature today on that. We'll get it back to Brianna at the Planning Commission. She'll get it submitted. We're sure that there'll be some other things when they review it that they want, but this is the first submission. So it's part of the process, and we'll see what happens. You talked about Senator Moran coming on Friday, and I thought we had a good visit with him. He actually highlighted our visit, among other things, in his newsletter that came out over the weekend, so it was very kind of him. And then we talked a little bit in the work session about the east lot and the grass, and it has been seeded now. It was seeded before the rain came the other night, so rain should have done it some really some good. We need some more rain now to keep it going, but hopefully it'll come up and we'll get a good stand, and that'll really finish off the aura of the property here when we get a good stand of grass on it. So we've got KC next Monday, and I'll be down there as well as in the meeting coming up on the 7th. So that's all I've got.
Okay. Thank you, Doug.
So we're waiting on the title companies to provide updated information so that we can move forward with the next tax sale. And we're getting notice out to people to get their taxes paid before they get into the situation of the property being sold. So we're just waiting on those title reports. About any time. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. I will mention too that next week we'll be attending the conference, KAC conference. The checkout on that, it goes through
Wednesday at noon, I think. And
Wednesday at noon. So we would be back and have our regular meeting as planned next Thursday. So that's not any problem. This is actually addressed to Craig. I went ahead and opened it.
Oh, my lottery number winning?
Well, I think there's available funding is what it says, up to $6.8 trillion, but you have to go back to Washington.
Doug wants to be honest with me.
Yeah.
He's my lawyer for it.
Well, actually, there's a free consultation you can sign up
I've
for.
already got attorney hired.
And then after that,
Contingency,
yeah.
depending on if we get anything or not.
So they do have some money to help remove a dam
Oh,
or
this isn't,
upgrade water and
this is,
wastewater.
this isn't my cousin that died.
No, that was probably another email. Sadly, I think a lot of us get those type of emails where someone from a foreign country wants to transfer money or give us something for free. And occasionally you'll read later a follow-up in the newspaper where someone actually replied to it and all they had to do is send them money first to get the money
Or gift cards.
and yes, and then the money, and then it's gone. So. Okay, but this one, yeah, this was just a typical solicitation letter we get. Some consultation firm wants to help us access possible funding that probably doesn't apply to Dickinson County, but they reach out to us. Okay, that's all we have for anything else on notices and communications. Brad did give us the information that we were invited to Abilene Smoky Valley Railroad Association is trying to recognize the support and celebrate all that's been done on their behalf. And so you've had opportunity to go to ride the train. And this happens to be on Monday when we'll be attending our meetings. And so we'll respectfully decline that opportunity, but sometimes that happens. Everything all comes at the same time. We do not have any resolutions moving on or unfinished business. We do have the items that we have added to the agenda. And the first one is in regards to amending section 305. And this has to do with the employee policy regarding vacations. And Brad, if you'd kind of give us the summary on that and why that's before us.
Yes, there's three issues here on this one that we're recommending an amendment to going forward, starting January 1. And that would be, the first part is changing when a person would be eligible to take any vacation. If you're hired during the first 6 months of a year, you would start accruing vacation that you could start using after the first month, basically by the hours. If you're hired in the second half of the year, you would, and the hours awarded is on there, you would be able to utilize some of those hours. What we've seen in several circumstances in the last couple of years is we have as you're well aware, the environment of trying to hire people has gone from getting applicants to trying to steal and rob people from other agencies. And that's just the reality of it. Well, when you're trying to get somebody that's a seasoned law enforcement officer or has experience in a particular field, they have accrued some vacation, and other locations have places that they are plans with family. And we've had a couple that said, I've already got vacation planned with my family this summer. I'd love to come to work for you, but I wouldn't be able to get any vacation time for the first 12 months. So by making this change, that would give them some hours that they could utilize in that first 12 months. It doesn't give them full credit, and it's broken down by months, how much vacation you would get. And so it kind of helps give us a little latitude in that area. It also adds one more category. In the 20 to 24 years, it puts one in there that gets 184 hours of vacation before you get to the 25 plus years. Then the third thing that it does on the back of the sheet that I gave you is it does remove the fact that if you don't take your vacation within the calendar year, you lose it. So the one thing we want to avoid is employees building up vacation. I know I've talked to other employees from other counties. One of them happens to be a relative that she's got 4,000 hours of vacation built up. We can't afford to do that. If you get people doing that, then your liability, if everybody got mad and walked out, we wouldn't be able to afford to pay them all. And so, plus, you get that much, that means if they get disgruntled, they could take off for 6 months. Not a lot you could do about it. So we would prefer they use it. It's there for a reason. It's for their mental and physical health. And unless we had some type of disaster or something, which we've had in the past, there's always special circumstances we can work around. But this just kind of removes that option so that someone can't say, well, I'm going to roll over a week's worth of vacation, take 3 next year, and there's nothing they can do about it because it's in the policy. So that's our recommendation. This would actually take effect January 1.
So this is helpful as far as changing with the times. Now, if we have someone say that's a new hire now, within the next 6 weeks or so, would that go into effect for them?
Until January 1.
Until January 1. Okay. But then on January the 1, by the fact that they had hired on the month before, they could, that'd be a
They
qualifying.
would start accumulating 8 hours a month under the new policy. Yeah.
Okay.
Otherwise, they have to work a full 12 months before they can take any vacation.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, it's a competitive necessity, but there's kind of a fairness factor to it too.
You just said it exactly what it is. It's keeping up with the times, so.
Okay. We'll need a motion to amend section 305.
So move.
I'll second it.
We have the motion and the second to amend section 305. And as Brad had explained, it has to do with the employee vacation policy and a few other issues on that. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next one has to do with clothing and uniforms. This is on section 514. And Brad, you might highlight, I know we've got the printout on that.
Yeah, we've given you a copy of that. Under our clothing and uniform policy, we do provide a stipend to the employees that are required to wear safety shoes. For example, the road and bridge guys or the people that work out at the transfer station that are working around hazardous things that they could step on, go through their shoe or drop on their feet. We also require the appraiser's office who's getting out tromping through the weeds around properties and things to wear shoes that are safety shoes so they can't step on a nail or something and injure themselves. Currently, our policy says we pay up to $125 for safety shoes one time a year. We would like to increase that to $175 because we've found that the price of those have gone up considerably. And we think that, again, would keep up with the current times of being able to pay for that. Now, the way that works, if somebody wants to buy some Tony Lama boots that are safety boots that qualify for the for what we require, and they're $279, they pay the difference. We only pay up to the approved amount. But we do have a few people do that. They, not anonymous, but they'll buy a special shoe that fits their
Offhand.
better. And it runs a little bit more money, but it's better for them, and so they pay the difference. So, but our recommendation is to increase that allocation to 175.
Okay,
I move we approve the changes made to 514 clothing and uniform allowance.
I'll second it. So we've got the motion and the second to go ahead and amend section 514 on the clothing and uniform allowance. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. Next item we have is a bid for a new pickup truck. And this is road and bridge, and we can actually find a new one.
Well, no, not necessarily, but that's part of the challenge.
Very.
Part of the reason we're bringing it to you now. We do have one in the capital plan for next year, right? We're doing it a little early because there happens to be one available, but to show you what we're up against, nothing different than what Jerry's told you every time he's been in here. We reached out to all the vendors. We went to the state contract, which Marshall Motors in Salina has a state contract. They gave us a price under the state contract, which is typically the least costly for a Dodge, like we bought a few times, for $50,795. Only problem is they think they might be able to get it in 6 months, don't know. And they don't even know then whether this model will be available and the price will still be good. But they gave us a price. Ford, similar situation. Theirs is $50,865 for a right now 2022 half ton.
F-350 or?
No, it's half ton. You know, F-150. It's a heavy half, but they have no idea on delivery time or if it need to be available. Go back to Holmes. Of course, we like to do business locally. Holmes has provided us a price for ordering one. Again, don't know whether they can get it or when it'll come in, but they do have one on the lot. It's a 2022 heavy half, 4-wheel drive. It's a diesel. It's not gas. So comparatively speaking, we priced gas on the others. This has got the diesel engine. It's like a 3-point-something liter. And I know when John and I were down in Missouri picking up that ambulance, the owner of the company took us out to dinner that night. He was driving a brand new Suburban diesel. You couldn't even tell it was a diesel. I mean, I don't know if you guys have had experience with the new diesels they're coming out with, but they don't clatter, they don't clang, they don't smell. I mean, but at any rate, they do have one on the lot up here. Their price is $57,400. They have knocked off $3,700, knocked it down to $55,016 if we want it. That's the reason we're bringing it to you now, is because they've only got 4 of them. They said they won't be there long because they were selling quick due to the problem that you can't get them. I know that DSNO bought a Colorado, the small mid-sized, a while back, and we did some work on it for them with their equipment. And it came with they ordered the rear sensors and stuff, obstacle sensors that beep at you. Doesn't work because the chips aren't in there, but if the chips ever come in, they'll come out and put them in the truck and make it work. So they're even selling trucks now with features that don't function just to get them sold. It's the strangest thing I've ever heard of, but our recommendation is to purchase this truck from Home Automotive. It's a few $1,000s more, but it's on hand. And there's a good risk that by the time they ever get a truck at the other dealerships, they're going to be more money because I don't know they're ever going to get in the ones that they're trying to sell now. So we do have the money in Martin's capital plan. A little bit would have to come out for the extra cost out of special machinery, but at least it would take care of it. This would retire the oldest truck we have, which is one that they tell me was driven by Larry Young. Back when Larry's here, Larry's been retired for 10 years. Martin's truck, Martin would take this and he would move his down to a flagging truck and a general work truck. So
I'd like to make that motion on that truck.
Second.
Okay. We have the motion and the second. Any other question? I appreciate all the information you've gathered for us, Brad, because it clearly, I think it would be a good move, and plus supporting locally. All in favor of the motion and second, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. That's all we have as far as our regular business. We do have an executive session for 20 minutes to discuss non-elected personnel. I think we'd have Brad and Janelle and the commission on that. And then Doug, it might be helpful for you to stay on this if that works for your schedule. And I'll go ahead and make the motion that we go into executive session at 11:23 for 20 minutes. And so we'll come out at 11:43.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any other discussion or question? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're going to be leaving regular session, going to executive session at 11:23 for 20 minutes. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and make the motion that we return to regular session from executive session.
I'll second that.
Got the motion and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Back in regular session. We did have discussion on non-elected personnel. We're nearly completed with our discussion, but there's just a few items we still need to discuss. And so I would go ahead and make the motion that we return to executive session at 11:45 to discuss non-elected personnel. And the length of the session would be 5 minutes.
I'll second that.
We have the motion and the second, and I should have probably included in the motion, but it would include Brad and Janelle and Doug Thompson along with the commission. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We're through with regular session for now to go into executive session at 11:45.
Don't let the door hit you, Kathy.
Yeah.
Okay, we have finished our executive session. I would move that we return to regular session.
I'll second that.
We have the motion and second to leave executive session to go to regular session. Any discussion? Do you have us on now, Brad?
Yes.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're back in regular session. We finished our discussions on non-elected personnel, and we have no further action to take at our meeting today. So is there a motion to
So
adjourn?
move.
And I'll second
We
it.
have the motion and second to adjourn. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We're adjourned.